Hello angel babies, welcome or welcome back. I'm really excited for today's reading. I've been planning it for a long time, but the timing just wasn't working out because of a bunch of stuff I have going on in my house. So I'm really happy that you're here to check on your inner flame, your spark. I feel like there is a trend going on talking about getting your spark back, and I like that concept, but I feel like it kind of gives the impression that your spark ran off without you, or that you are somehow needing to go and find something outside of yourself. So I want to look today at how you are reconnecting with the flame that's already inside of you. And we have 3 different options for you to choose from. These candles were given to me by my brother for Christmas. Ooh, I'm out of breath and we are just getting started. I don't know about you, but sometimes I notice that I have not taken a deep breath all day long. So I'm gonna do that right now. You can do it with me. Okay. So our first option is Fern and Rainwater. And I will smell it for you. Since you will just have to imagine the way that it smells. Definitely smells like walking into a rainforest, or I would imagine that that's what it smells like. Smells like kind of like fresh, like when you've gotten out of the shower, what the bathroom smells like. That's kind of the vibe, I would say. And then this pile of cards right here. So that's your first option. Oh, don't run away. Stay here. Quédate vos. Okay. Your second option is monk fruit and vanilla, which I feel like is an easier one to... I mean, maybe you're really familiar with Fern and Rainwater together, but I don't know, if vanilla feels like one of the most common scents. This one smells comforting. And then we have the second pile of cards. Me. And our third option is Ember and tobacco. Which again, you're just gonna have to imagine. This one kind of smells like it's pretty subtle, which I love. I can get headaches really easily from candles if they're super strong. But this one is just got like very subtle it's nice. And then this third pile of cards. So those are your 3 options. Take the time that you need to choose which one is calling to you. You can also check the timestamps down below, and maybe a number will help you make your decision. and I will see you in your reading. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile One. If you chose the Fern and Rainwater candle, then this is your reading. We are going to first light this candle together. You can kind of set an intention for this reading of what you're looking for, what you want for your inner flame, and reclaiming that passion and curiosity, energy for life again. So go ahead and set that intention. This might make a really high-pitched noise. I don't know if the camera or microphone will catch it, but set that off to the side for our reading. Let's get into it. So our first question, well, first I want to talk to you about the candle that you chose, the flame of self-renewal, as I'm calling it. And I was thinking about the song that says, after the storm, after the rain, after everything is good again. This is the flame that brightens when something is cleared and allowed to move through. So first, there was some sort of clearing or removal. The rain happened. And now you're going to have a resurgence of that vitality and energy. It shows up after a lot of emotional processing, shedding of old narratives, clearing mental or relational residue, and after you've been moving out of stagnation, but without forcing momentum. Some keywords are renewal, declutter, space, letting energy return naturally. Your energy is waiting for room to breathe. Refreshed. Okay, now let's get into the questions. The first one is, what is the current state of your inner flame? With the 6 of Staves or 6 of Wands. How are you currently tending your flame? And what is your flame asking for right now? Okay, let's start right there. So the current state of your flame with the 6 of Staves or 6 of Wands, it really matches up with that energy of release for me, but with an added note of connecting to allowing yourself to be seen again, allowing yourself to move towards the things that you want, the things that will expand your life. But I think that there is a feeling of kind of appreciating. It's like you're doing a like slow drive by, or like I can't remember, I don't know what that phrase is, of like when someone wins an award and then they just like do like a little parade walking by. to kind of like wave at everyone and give their little speech. And maybe you're not literally doing that, but it's the energy of you just acknowledging what you went through and the determination, the commitment, the self-compassion, the sheer grit at times that it took for you to get you to where you are right now, and just kind of giving yourself those accolades if no one else is giving them to you. And perhaps other people are going to start giving those to you in this next chapter. It might feel a bit like, that was heavy, that was a lot. I'm ready to like reap the rewards of what I experienced. I think that your inner flame right now is perhaps a little bit timid, but still strong. And what I mean by that is it's not like out here super strong and blazing and the like biggest and brightest that it's ever been because of what you've gone through, but it's still very strong and determined and steady because you are now like moving into a phase of renewal. Okay, this Eight of Pentacles represents how you're currently tending the energy, and the word that comes to my mind is like diligent. That because of what you went through, I think that you are very committed to taking care of yourself. It's kind of like, yeah, I know what can happen when I like let the ball drop, or that's like not even really the right word, but when you maybe you overgave, or you like started to be like really burnt out because of something that you were going through. Maybe it was like, oh, they were really demanding a lot of me at work, or even like at school, you like made it through a certain part in school and you were studying really hard and it really took a lot out of you, and you're realizing like, when I commit myself to nourishing and replenishing my own inner flame with the little things, that helps to sustain me through those challenging times. And it helps me to set clear boundaries with my energy. It helps me to know when something is for me and when it's not. It helps me to go towards the things that I am really excited about, and it helps me to be okay with what might seem like missing out on an opportunity, because I recognize that other opportunities will come along, and it's more important that I take care of myself. So I think that that's something that you are really being considerate of right now, is kind of like, the word is like honing your craft of, this is my energy, this is what nourishes me, this is what replenishes that energy, and these are the things that drain it. So I can be more so I'm better able to give to the things that I want to be able to give to. This Devil card represents what your flame is asking you for right now, its true needs and desires. And the Devil is an interesting card to come out, and I think that this one is such an interesting Devil card with the, like, these red glowing boots or socks. I guess it's socks and shoes in the moonlight. I think that there might be some things that are illuminated to you right now. Maybe it's in hindsight, or like as you're going through this process of things have been cleared out of your way and you have more time and energy to devote to yourself and your own emotional processing, caring for yourself, that there might be some things coming to the surface that are revealing to you, hey, remember when you did that back in that situation from the past? Yeah, you were overextending yourself, and that's why it was uncomfortable. You might have moments of like even like twinges of regret or feeling like you betrayed yourself. You might have moments where you're just kind of feeling like out of sorts. I mean, the dance that she's doing feels a little bit like she's uncomfortable in her skin, or just trying to find her groove again, so to speak. So you might have a little bit of that in this process of coming back home to yourself and reconnecting with your inner flame. And I actually really want to get a clarifying card for you on that one. I pulled a few decks that I could grab from in case I wanted to get a clarifying card. I did things a little differently with this reading and did all tarot. Without any oracle. So the clarifying question that I have about this Devil card is, what is coming to the surface to be revealed for you? What is your inner flame wanting to say? Ooh, couple. We have the Queen of Wands. Just make sure you can see these. The Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. And you'll have to let me know how you feel about this lighting. I'm playing around with a few different things because I hate the overhead light. It's very harsh. Okay. So, clarifying the Devil with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. This is what's coming through. You might have an inner conflict between your desire to create and be expansive and bold and in your power, take up space, connect to your voice again. Be really in this like Queen of Wands energy. And then you have this Knight of Pentacles energy that's like, yes, good, beautiful, love that for you, but let's pace ourselves. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. He is very determined to make it to wherever he is going, but he takes it slow. He is deliberate in his actions. And this is funny. Anyone who comes from a Mormon background who's here, this is reminding me of what's called the Liahona from the Book of Mormon. And in the Book of Mormon, that story was about this family who found this like golden orb thing, and they would ask it questions. It's giving Magic 8-Ball. And they would ask it where they should go next, what they should do next. And you might be feeling a little bit like you want some sort of confirmation from outside of you, kind of like what we were talking about. I don't know how much of the intro you watched. At the very beginning, that those external confirmation can be very tempting. Be like, yes, that person said what I wanted to hear, that person's validating me. But at the end of the day, you're realizing that you're the only one who can really know your own path. So I think that those are a few things that might be coming to the surface that your inner flame is reminding you is we build this flame with a little bit of kindling and then the logs, the smaller sticks, and then the little bit larger logs. And eventually you will have this like very grand and beautiful fire, but it doesn't happen overnight or it will be extinguished. I just got a little confused because I had an extra card over here, but I feel like it might be relevant. We have the 7 of Cups, which is another card about like having so many options in front of you and feeling like you don't know which one to choose from. Feeling like if you don't pick correctly, you might be missing out on something. You might have a sense that there is some destined or fated path for you. And I think it's okay to believe in that, but you also have a choice in that path. That it's not just the universe forcing itself upon you. Like it's a weaving, like it's a play, it's a dance, it's a co-creation, not just God, source, the universe demanding that things be one way. So that could be another thing that's coming up for you, is feeling like you're letting go of a need for things to be some exact way and allowing things to be a little bit more playful and exploratory. Like, I'm just gonna choose this one and see how it goes. And maybe it turns out that that one wasn't really what you thought it would be. You're like, well, that was an interesting experience. Now what's behind door number 3? Having a little bit more of like, if this were a video game, if this were one of those computer games that you played when you were 10 years old and you had just a lot less worry and concern about it, how would you be making your decisions? And maybe there are some things that you want to be a little bit more deliberate about, but probably not everything needs to be that serious. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Moving energy. The next question is, what tends to dim your energy or pull you away from that sense of aliveness? And you got 2 cards for that when I was shuffling. If you are scared of horror things, then maybe don't watch or don't look at the camera for this part. You got the 6 of Cups. Scoot these all up. And the Queen of Wands, which is a repeat. So I think that that is another confirmation that you might have this pressure on yourself to be this like strong, independent, courageous, determined, in your power person, to present yourself as being optimistic and happy and beautiful and like all of the things that society deems as acceptable, or like, oh, you have good energy, or you have your shit together. You might have a lot of pressure on yourself to do that, and then when you're doing that, it's kind of draining your energy to have these very high expectations of yourself. And I think that you already know that because you're a very wise and aware person. It's just a matter of being reminded that you don't have to have it all figured out, because nobody does. And the 6 of Cups coming in alongside, to me, is saying that it's okay to ask for help and get support and to find reciprocal energy in your life, that you don't have to wait until you have everything figured out to receive something from another person. You don't have to wait until you have achieved X, Y, Z, until you can have friends or be in a romantic relationship or just allow yourself to be loved. That if we were all waiting until we were perfectly put together, then nobody would be able to connect to or relate to each other or have friends or be in relationships or have family. So something that's draining your energy is really just the pressure that you're putting on yourself to be perfect or go faster than is really humanly possible. Even if you think that there are other people who are doing it better than you or faster than you or with less resources, they don't have your exact circumstances. Okay. And the last question and card is, how can you gently tend your inner flame so it continues to grow in a sustainable way? Which fits very nicely with what's been coming up for you. We have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords sits very serenely on his throne, encouraging you to pursue your intellectual interests. And if you feel like you haven't been interested in anything in particular, like maybe you are somebody who usually is just like gobbling up lots of books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, wanting to have lots of intellectual conversations, and you find yourself not wanting to do those things, maybe now is a moment for you to allow that to be okay, allow that to just be a sign that your inner flame is communicating perhaps overstimulation, perhaps a moment of integration is needed. And if that's not the case for you, to just listen to whatever nudge is coming up about like, hey, like I'm curious about this thing. How could we learn about that thing? Even if it's just asking a question of somebody that you know that is interested in that thing. Maybe it's picking up a book from the library. Maybe it's maybe you've already learned about that thing previously, and so you're pulling out old resources to refresh your memory on that thing. Because the King of Swords is very well versed in his whatever it is that he knows in his field of study. He has a clear understanding and ability to communicate that and share that with others. So you may also be finding ways to share something that you know a lot about with other people. Even if it's just jotting down some ideas or brainstorming how you would like to learn about that if you were in the position to be the beginner again. I think that to be very gentle with yourself in this process is to allow it to be about curiosity, and to also acknowledge how far you have already come. I think that overwhelm often comes when we feel like, oh, there's so far that we have to go, or I have so much that I have to do. And so something that you might be doing in this process is, similar to the very beginning, is just giving yourself your own flowers, saying, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I know that. I'm cool. Just acknowledging your own prowess. It's not a word that I use very often. Your own skill, ability. I think that if I were to summarize what's coming up for you in your energy, it's that you are tending to your flame with a lot of dedication and consideration, being very focused on that. You may have moments that arise that are very overwhelming, or feel like, oh shoot, like I have to make a decision about this, or which direction should I be going? But then you are returning back to that sense of like sovereign power, the King of Swords, the Queen of Wands energy, and reminding yourself that I don't have to figure it all out right now. I already have a lot of power. I already am in my power, and you're taking it one step at a time, following those little sparks, those little glimmers, those little nudges of curiosity as they come up to move you towards whatever it is that you're interested in exploring. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I'd love to know what it is that you are interested in learning more about, what things you discover. If you are interested in more support on your personal journey, I am here for you. You can check out the links below for personal readings. Love you. See you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the monk fruit and vanilla candle, then this is your reading. We are going to light the candle first. So if you have a specific intention for this reading, you can think about that now. Perhaps something about how you are going to be keeping your flame, your inner passion, sensuality, desire for life alive. This lighter makes a pretty high-pitched noise, so I don't know if the microphone will pick that up. That took a second to light. Sometimes new wicks take a second. That one on the right was pretty large and then kind of settled back down. Maybe you are having moments of feeling like your inner flame is very bold and you're feeling really passionate and connected to it, and then moments when it's more muted or not as bright and ignited within you, just more subdued. You chose the flame of self-compassion. This is the flame that stays lit or is reignited through kindness and gentle, sustaining care. The core idea of this flame is nourishment, softness, kindness, and kindness towards your energy. It's about sustainability over optimization. This flame shows up when you are tired of pushing, you're coming out of depletion, burnout, or survival mode. You're learning to let yourself rest. You're rebuilding trust with your own body. You're realizing that rest doesn't have to be earned. You are no longer feeling the need to prove yourself through external output, productivity, or hustle. Let's get into the questions now. So the first card is going to represent what the current state of your inner flame. What is the current state of your inner flame? Then we have how you are tending your flame right now, whether you recognize it or not. And then we have what your flame is asking for right now. Its needs and desires. So the current state of your flame is the 10 of Wands or the 10 of Staves, which can feel a bit like depletion or at being at the end of your rope, feeling like you don't have a lot left in the tank, or you're just about to get over this last hurdle and you have been giving all that you have for a long time. your flame might feel a bit weak, or like we were talking about in the beginning, kind of that going between feeling kind of low and flickering and not super steady or strong, to being like, woo, like a lot stronger, a lot brighter. And that might be a little bit of like you fighting through the depletion and the burnout. Sometimes we go through cycles of high intensity, and which is another form of dysregulation, and then into that like burnout, collapse, needing to retreat and hibernate and tend to ourselves again. And that cycle can feel pretty normal, especially if you come from a lot of trauma and dysregulating environments, past toxic relationships, runner-chaser dynamics, avoidant and other situations like that. So it might be that you are kind of acknowledging this about yourself right now, acknowledging how this isn't a pattern that you want to continue, and how depleted you really have become and are feeling right now, that you really want to be able to nourish that flame. I mean, this is the flame of self-compassion. So you're starting to really offer yourself that self-compassion of, wow, I don't want to be in these cycles anymore. And maybe you have broken free of unhealthy relationships or left toxic work environments or situations where you had to just give and give and give without really being sustained and replenished on the other side. So let's look at now this card. The Sun is how you are currently tending your energy, which is a really positive sign. It does show me that you are looking at how things have been going and saying, I need something different. I need warmth. I need the sun. I need to be fueled by some source that perhaps you feel like you didn't have access to before. And you're realizing that, like, quite literally, the elements, the sun, the earth, water, the air, your breath, are all forms of returning back to that passion and that flame within yourself, as well as allowing yourself to Fall apart, come undone. I'm imagining like, now I'm seeing those dolls, the ones that like stack inside of each other. Can't remember what they're called right now, but that maybe for a long time you have been like one of those dolls and had all of these different layers inside of you. And now at this point in your life, you're really starting to connect back to like that very, very core piece of you, the one that doesn't have any more dolls to pull out. It's just like the solid wood piece, the one that you were born as. And it's not to say that those other ones that stack on top are like all bad or fake or wrong. They were different versions of you that helped to carry you to where you are now. They were protecting you. They were learning in the environments that you were in. But I think that this stage of your life is helping you to reconnect with that very core part of you. So I think that something that you're doing is allowing yourself to dismantle, untangle the parts that feel like they have to protect you, feel like they have to show up and maybe like people please, or they have to overthink every situation, that they have to plan out every step along the way. Whatever your particular coping mechanisms have been throughout your life, and you're acknowledging them and you're giving them space and saying, I see you, thank you, we're going to do something differently now. We're going to return back to play and sensuality and curiosity, and to give you all a chance to rest. One thing that this card represents what your inner flame is asking for. And it's asking for a sense of stability, safety, to feel grounded. And during all of this process of you kind of like untangling this web of who you were with who you are now, who you want to be, it can feel quite dysregulating, which is in some ways you're like, like I actually am pretty well versed in being dysregulated, but it might feel a bit different now because you have created more safety for yourself. There might be a new flavor to it because it's not dysregulation from with danger present. It's dysregulation from safety. Learning how to allow yourself to rest again, learning how to soften in moments when your body is feeling extremely tense, which I think that you're acknowledging is not just a, oh, I'm going to tell myself to be calm now. I'm going to tell myself to be soft now. I'm going to tell myself to relax and not worry about it now. It's more so just giving yourself the chance to experience new things, but not force yourself to move outside that comfort zone too quickly, or create some idea of a healed version of you, a version of you that is just like perfectly regulated all the time and never yeah, just that this grounded feeling is more of, it's kind of like the breath that we were talking about. It's something that you come in and out of, but you're learning to trust that you will come back into yourself, come back to yourself, come back to the earth, to the ground. And that the times when you are dissociating or feeling dysregulated or stuck in an overthinking loop are things that you know how to come back from, and you will. So I think that really what your inner flame needs and desires right now is just that self-compassion and acknowledgement that you are doing all the right things. Perhaps you have a feeling that you need to like find the right tools, or if you were to, read the right quote, do the right technique in yoga, you might have still some like fixing and programming around productivity hanging out inside of you, which is completely understandable. But really, if you are able to just acknowledge it when it comes up and say, hey, like, thank you for your input. I am going to just sit in the sun now, or I am going to eat my lunch now, or whatever it is that you happen to be doing that is just in your body. I think that's what your inner flame is really craving. All right, the next question is, what tends to dim your energy or pull you away from that sense of Oh, you know what? This card is actually a clarifying card with the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords. Just an added sense of clarity. I mean, this card, he has popcorn in a basket. He looks like he is enjoying himself. Both of these kings are pretty sure of their purpose. You know, that's interesting. This King of Swords, he has some thread. Looks like a spool of thread. And I've been learning a little bit about, in mythology, weavers. The idea of like weaving fate and weaving stories, weaving just who weavers have been throughout history and story. And that might be something that you are playing around with a bit more, and that your inner flame is desiring for you to do, is allow the narratives that are going on in your head to come into earth a little bit more. So rather than just living in your head, that they will come to earth. I saw this quote yesterday that says, "Isn't it amazing that you have the power to turn thought into matter? You are a creator being. You have the power to turn thought into matter." And I don't think that that needs to be something that scares you or overwhelms you. It can be something fun and exciting and whimsical, magical, playful. If you're returning to this inner child, if you think back to when you were on a playground, or how you used to play with your toys as a kid, you weren't like, "Oh man, like I built that tower wrong." You just built the tower and knocked it over, and then you built something else. Because it was just about the fun of building the tower. So I think that your inner flame, this part of you that is craving passion and sensuality and a connection to life, might have a desire for you to turn some of your thoughts, even if they're really silly or random or scary or overwhelming, into matter in some way, through really goofy ways. It doesn't have to be good. It can be finger painting. It could be scribbling with your toes. It could be, oh my gosh, now I'm thinking of, oh, what is that from, where they like take a scan of their butt cheeks on the like work printer? I don't know what that's from. Just like random stuff, like whatever comes to your mind, and then just playing with it. Something that I've done that was like to be playful and spontaneous with my creation was use my paints, but like paint it on my legs, because the purpose of that is not to make it look good or do anything special. I don't even get to save it. It will wash off. But it's about the experience. It's about the sensual, experience of it. Okay. I'm glad that that card came out. The next question is what tends to dim your energy or pull you away from that passion and sense of aliveness. That you got the Two of Pentacles. And what comes to mind for me with the Two of Pentacles is that you might be trying to hold it all up, juggle a lot. Trying to be a lot of things to a lot of different people, and that can really drain your energy. In fact, something else that's coming to my mind right now, I just was reading this, what it says at the bottom of this card. It says a journey into equilibrium. When I was younger, I was really obsessed with the idea of temperance. It was something that we talked about at church, and I thought that that meant that I just needed to like keep all of my emotions in check all of the time. That I needed to be balanced and temperate, which in my child brain, and honestly up until like the last couple of years, that meant to me that I needed to rein it all in and not express myself, which is very stifling. It's very restrictive to that creative expression and ability to take up space, share who you are. So I think that's something that you might be experiencing, might be feeling. Excuse me. Is like you have to keep it together for maybe the people in your life, maybe in certain settings you feel especially like you have to act a certain way, like maybe at work or school or in certain relationships, that a certain version of you is not acceptable, and reining yourself in and like putting yourself into a box can be very exhausting, can drain you and disconnect you from that sense of aliveness. Whereas you might have other areas of your life where you feel like, oh, I can just be myself, I can breathe here. There's a quote that says something like, spend time around people with whom you don't have to spend your life, or like spend all of your energy explaining your soul. That's not quite right, but the general idea of it is that when you're around people who understand you, who just get you, if you say something that was a little off, or you use the wrong word, or you are having an off day, if you get really excited about something, they're not going to be offended by it or think that you're a weirdo or stop being friends with you. They just get it. They're your people. They love that about you. In fact, it makes you more endearing and like somebody that they recognize more of you because you are more fully yourself. So really what dims your energy is places, spaces, people where you are not able to, you don't feel like you can be yourself. So the cards that came out for you for the last question is, how can you gently tend to your inner flame so it continues to grow in a sustainable way? And you got the Three of Pentacles. It did come out reversed. I don't usually read cards reversed, but I did want to take that into account in this situation. And the Page of Cups. So the Three of Pentacles being reversed, for whatever reason, to me, this particular Three of Pentacles, it actually has a similar or like a continued energy from what we were talking about with the Two of Pentacles. Oh, I'm just realizing that now. 2 to 3 of Pentacles. That you might have been in situations where you felt like you had to rein yourself in, or alternatively that you needed to keep yourself very open to everybody else's perspective. Like, oh, I need to hear them out, and kind of bend your way of seeing things or the way that you behaved to their expectations, their opinion. And I'm seeing this stuff that's coming out of these bats as like what they're saying to each other, their energy as well. And perhaps like you would say something, you would share something, and it wasn't always received, or you feel like it kind of just like hit dead air. And now you are integrating yourself, you're going to, or you already are, into spaces where you are actually heard and appreciated for what you have to share, as well as taking time to just be with your own energy and to validate yourself, to consider what you think without anybody else's opinion getting involved. That you're returning back to your own voice, your own opinions, your own sense of self. And the Page of Cups being included here really is saying that you are practicing expressing yourself emotionally, but you might feel a little bit like a beginner again, even though you throughout your life have been very emotionally intelligent and highly and deeply connected to yourself and to perhaps like whatever you consider to be like a divine or spiritual source. So I think maybe some little ways that you are tending to your flame in this season would be through remembering things that used to help you feel confident in your own emotional expression, in your own voice. Is that my voice? Like there may have been times in your life when you felt a lot more confident in sharing your opinions with other people, or even like standing in front of an audience. Maybe there were times when you like got on a stage in school, or even just like had a good group of friends that you felt safe to share your opinions with, even if they were a little controversial or you hadn't fully formed every part of that opinion. So maybe you're connecting to that energy and just reminding yourself, hey, I have that within myself. And then practicing that in small ways with the new connections that you're making with family members, with friends, with random people that you come into contact with that like won't matter in 5 minutes because you're never going to see them again. You know, like somebody that you talk to at the grocery store or something like that, and it doesn't feel too high stakes, but it's an opportunity for you to practice just showing up as yourself. So I think that really the little things that you're doing to tend to your flame are just about you showing up in your full expression of self. And a lot of that is coming down to allowing you to open your own heart to give that version of yourself to other people again, and to be received as that version of yourself by other people again. That maybe there were some defenses that you had built up around like, oh, I can't be accepted like that because of not being accepted like that by past relationships or in certain environments. So if I were to summarize your reading, I would say that you are either coming from or are maybe even still in a state of intense burnout, that you went through some really heavy times, either in a relationship or some other environment where your needs were not met and you gave a lot of yourself. You are now coming into a place of being able to return back to yourself, to your purest energy. And it might be a bit of an uncomfortable process. You might have moments where you feel like you are very ungrounded, unstable, not sure of what's up and what's down. But you are starting to bring some of the like thoughts and feelings and whatever comes up into your physical reality through some form of creation, or even just like actual physical movement. You're weaving thoughts and feelings into reality. You may still have some things that are weighing on you that make you feel like you can't fully express yourself. There may be some sort of environment or relationship, or this could just be like residual feelings from previous experiences that are kind of like coming up in loops. A feeling that you need to have everything in balance and to show up in a certain way. And you're starting to slowly but surely practice showing up as yourself in little ways that feel safe to you, even if it's just with the person at the grocery store that is checking you out. Every time I say that, it feels like some sort of like, oh, they were checking me out. I looked good though. And you are coming back home to yourself. You're reconnecting to that flame and that sense of aliveness by finding your creative voice again, expressing yourself when things start to feel very oppressive or restrictive. Yeah, things are starting to feel more empowering. That's what I have for you today, Pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a pleasure doing this reading for you. If you are interested in a personal reading, if you would like more support that's tailored specifically to you on your journey, then you can check out the links below for that. And I would love to see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the Ember and Tobacco candle, then this is your reading. We are going to light this together so you can set your intentions for the reading. For how your inner flame is going to be reignited or grow stronger, stay potent. Okay. This lighter makes a high-pitched sound, so beware. May all of our intentions come to fruition. So the candle that you chose is the Ember and Tobacco, and I named it the Flame of Contentment, which represents depth, pleasure, longevity, slow burn, and satisfaction. It's a devotion to the long arc, not just peak moments or cheap thrills. Cheap Thrills by Sia might be relevant. It shows up in a long-term process, questioning your stamina or like recommitting to your stamina, wondering if something still matters because it is taking more time or doesn't have the initial thrill anymore. Learning that depth doesn't always feel dramatic. It is not grinding or just put your head down and stick to it just because. It's not suffering through something you hate. It's not staying out of fear. It's not obligation without choice. You are honoring your chosen path and trusting your process. It's very Pentacles, Strength, the Hierophant, and a little bit of the Hermit. The first question that I have is, what is the current state of your inner flame? And the card you got for that is the Six of Pentacles. The next question is, how are you currently finding your energy? Not finding, tending. It's an interesting, what are you currently finding? Well, searching high and low. And the third question is, what is your flame asking for right now? What are its true needs and desires? And for that one, you got the Three of Wands. So for the current state of your inner flame, I see that that's so funny. The way that I was saying that, it made me feel like a gypsy. Like with a glass ball, like very traditional, future telling. Maybe that's something that you are getting into a little bit more, is some sort of divination, some sort of spiritual practice that you didn't always feel connected to, but are finding is helping you connect to yourself more. Or it might have been something that you were connected to when you were younger and you're returning to again. The Six of Pentacles feels like I'm actually feeling like it's a nurturing of parts of yourself that may have been neglected for a while, and then because you are doing that, those parts of you are nurturing you right back. So let's say that you had a part of you that was really craving to just try something new. The example that's coming to my mind is actually to do with exploring new things in the kitchen, maybe baking, or just allowing yourself a sweet treat. Just listening to your body's cues around cravings, little cravings that you're having, and indulging yourself every now and then. Eating a popsicle outside in the sun, just like little sweet moments like that. And this is just one example, but if you are doing that type of thing, then that part of you that was craving that is then feeling more energized and more connected to you as a whole. And it's like a turn on. Like that turns you on. That's an experience of pleasure and sensuality and a connection to life. So then it kind of has this ripple effect of, oh, now I have more energy and I want to do more things to fuel that flame. So I think that you are actually it might not feel super strong or super steady or protected or any of those types of things, but I think that you're doing a lot more to nurture your flame than you might realize. And your flame might be in a state of coming back online, feeling revitalized after a time of being this whole, like the flame of contentment, feeling like you've gone through a long process to get yourself to where you are. And maybe having moments of like, is this still worth it? Whatever it is that you're doing. So maybe you are checking in with that flame, that sense of aliveness, and seeing, do I feel any sense of pull towards this thing? Or can I like revitalize that? For this project that I'm working on, for this relationship, but first and foremost for myself. Yeah. The Knight of Cups, for how you are currently tending your energy, that card is really giving allowing yourself, it's actually some similar messages to what I was saying with the Six of Pentacles. Indulging yourself, allowing yourself to follow your passion, wherever your heart is leading you. The Knight of Cups can sometimes be seen as like this frivolous knight, or like he is just careless, carefree, doesn't know exactly what he is doing. He's just kind of, he's following his heart. But your heart does have a lot of wisdom. And perhaps you have been really focused on what your head has to say, instead of listening to your heart, listening to your body even. And now you're allowing those parts of you to come back online a bit more, opening yourself up to the potential that when you have an inkling that you want to choose the rom-com instead of the self-help book off of the shelf, that you can go for it. Or if you want to choose the like swinging on swings at the playground instead of going for a run, then you're going to go for it. If you are going to choose turning on some of your favorite music from high school instead of classical music. I mean, I don't know if any of these things are like really what you would be choosing alternatively, but it's just like the energy of always needing to be serious and be the adult and keep yourself in check and in line, and never letting yourself let loose. And now you are letting yourself play, letting yourself do the fun thing, do the silly thing, do the frivolous thing, because why not? So I think that's amazing. And for what your flame is asking for right now, the true needs and desires, what's coming to mind for this card is a desire to be held, a desire to, I mean, the word nurture has already come out, that when you are in a state of feeling like you have to like put your head down and grind or pursue some particular path, even if it is something that you really do want, there can also be moments where you just stop and hold yourself and allow it to be enough wherever it is that you are. So I think that that's something that your inner flame is wanting, is just moments to stop and take in the scenery and appreciate where it is that you are before you take the next step. That it's not just a constant go, 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 always moving on to the next thing, but really taking in. There's a song coming to my mind. It's Stop and Smell the Roses or something like that from the band Camino. And there's a line that says something along the lines of, like, we have hands and hearts and noses, so stop and smell the and roses. And they literally like don't say the F word. I was like, wait, is this the clean version? But no, it's not. And I think that that's something that your inner flame is really craving, is to just stop and smell the roses, take in the beautiful view, to appreciate the feeling of the fabric that you put on your body when you get dressed, to enjoy the warmth of the water when you get in the shower, to take a slow walk outside in the sun. Just the simple pleasures. Yeah. The next question is, what tends to dim your energy or pull you away from that sense of aliveness? And the card that you got is the Seven of Cups, which has been coming out a lot recently in the energy in this collective, and actually is a repeat. Another group got this card. I would say that, you know, this part down here, it's like fairly intricate, and it kind of reminds me of Candyland, but like horror version. And I think that that might be the message. That we have these things that used to be really fun for us as a kid. Even like grocery shopping. I don't know if you did this as a kid, but they always had like those mini grocery carts at this grocery store near me. Or even the ones that like looked like race cars. You could sit in and be pushed around by your parents. Just like even washing the dishes. I remember watching my parents or my older siblings wash the dishes and being like, I want to try. I want to do it. And now, like, washing the dishes, not my favorite thing ever. So I think that something that might be draining your energy is feeling like you have a lot of things pulling you in different directions, and that they all feel a little bit like a chore or like our adult responsibility. Like, even if I make it to what was the grandma's name in Candyland? It's like Grandma Graham Cracker or something. If I make it to Grandma Graham Cracker's house, like, she's gonna eat me alive, you know, like turning everything into like a horror scenario, worst case scenario. And just feeling like all of your responsibilities or all the things on your plate might feel equally daunting and pressing. And that would drain anybody's energy. So, you know, let's pull a clarifying card on something that you can do to meet that energy with compassion and just what should you do when you're feeling that way? Like it's all just too much. Okay, we have two cards coming up. We have the Nine of Swords. Rest, baby. And the Ace of Swords. Okay, so this feels like a sequence to me of first rest, first allow yourself, allow the overwhelm to crest and fall. It's okay for it to be there. It's understandable. Life can be very overwhelming. There can be a lot of things that feel like they're all coming at you at once. So allow yourself to collect yourself, to go into your safe space, your sanctuary, your bedroom, your wherever it is that feels like you can put all your swords back on the wall instead of directing them at yourself or feeling like you have to defend off the enemies that are really just like laundry or other adult tasks. And then you start to realize that there is a sunset out the window and a bird on the windowsill. And when you start to notice those little things again, when you start to reconnect to that clarity, then you're bringing your sword out, one of them, and whatever you felt was like attacking you or coming at you all at the same time, you're going to be able to use that to kind of like pierce through the loop or the overwhelm, the overthinking, the stress, and just start with one thing. These cats in this particular deck represent your inner wisdom. And this cat is just like looking right up at the witch. Like, yeah, you got it. I trust you. And I think your inner flame trusts you to come back to your center, to yourself. And in this card, the kitty is like, are you okay? I'm right here. It's gonna be okay. So when you have 7 cups that all feel like they're being dumped on you at once, I think that you're going to be able to return to your own energy just by acknowledging, oh, like, hey, I'm feeling depleted right now. I need to refuel. All right, and the last question is 7 of Swords. This 7 of Swords, for some reason, is reminding me of the guy in Hercules who's like, you want to buy a sundial? And I feel like something that you're doing to gently tend to your inner flame is, I mean, it's kind of a theme of your whole reading. Come up with inventive ways. I mean, that guy in Hercules was some sort of inventor. Some sort of inventive way to express yourself, a way that feels authentic to you, a way that feels fun and playful and doesn't have to be super serious or mean much to anybody else. And that part of it could be that you are keeping it close to the chest and concealed for the most part, unless somebody asks about it, or unless it like really does make sense to share it in the moment. Perhaps you are somebody who's very generous with like sharing your ideas, your creativity, your expression. You may even feel a pressure to do that. Like, I mean, I think it's a common thing nowadays to like monetize everything or turn your creativity into a side hustle, or imagine, I mean, just that whatever you create needs to be a product or just good for it to be worth anything. But I think that you are seeing ways that you can make things that are just for you, or make things that don't need to be anything other than a place to play. It's interesting that that is the message that came through with the Seven of Swords, because Seven of Swords is often about conflict or even deception, or being a thief in the night. So maybe you have felt a sense of conflict around wanting to create, wanting to express yourself, but feeling like it needed to be something specific, some sort of product, or follow a specific path. If we're going back to the very beginning, that there may be some long process that you've been in of trying to work towards a dream, and to reconnect to yourself. You're not necessarily giving up on that dream if it still feels aligned with you, but you are allowing yourself to do things that are just to fill your own cup, or just to enjoy the moment, enjoy being in your body, that don't have any particular outcome tied to them other than the experience itself. And another thing that was coming to my mind before I said all of that was that there may be some things from when you were younger, like specific things that you wrote, or a project that you worked on, that you might be returning to and seeing, just like reading it or looking through the projects. Like if you had like some sort of like box of sentimental items, maybe you're going through or even this could be like returning to the origin of why you started this project or process that you've been in. Where the dream originated. Was it from some childhood thing? Was it like, what brought it about? Maybe it's connected to some external pressure from family or society, and you're realizing, oh, hey, like maybe I don't actually need to continue on this process, and I can pivot and work towards something that feels more connected to who I actually am now. Or maybe you're reconnecting to that part of you that feels really excited about it because you're remembering your why in the first place. But I think that your overall, like the little things that you're doing to ignite your flame and keep it lit and sustained, are just in little ways that you are listening to those parts of you that are starting to speak up more. Maybe they went quiet for a while. Maybe they've been speaking up for a while, you just couldn't hear because there was too much noise or other demands on your plate, but now you're able to hear them. And offering yourself just those little moments of sensual pleasure that might feel insignificant in the moment, but like little by little are starting to expand the trust that you have with yourself and are sustaining that flame. Yeah. That is what I have for you today, Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. If this has resonated with you and you are looking for more support on your journey, I offer personal readings, and you can check out the link down below. Otherwise, I would love to see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. Bye.